Mom? Is it true I will stay with Dad permanently?
I'm so sorry, Jazz. Your father was able to get full custody of you.
But Mom, I can't live with him. He's impossible to please.
I know. I lived with him for 10 years. They were the most miserable 10 years of my life. He made my life miserable every minute of it. I'm sorry it's this way, Jazz.
He never lets me have a life. He's controlling and manipulative. I can't, Mom. You have to find another way. I just can't.
Jasmine, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do at the moment.
Just last week, I wanted to go to Anna's place for a sleepover because I disliked staying home with Dad. He had already given me permission earlier in the week to go. And on that particular day, he stopped me from going without giving me a reasonable reason. To make matters worse, his girlfriend has practically turned me into her maid, making me do everything in the house. And she's the worst person to clean up after. She's so untidy and lazy. I don't know how Dad keeps up with her. I want to complain to Dad, but all he had to say was it was the least I could do when he fed and clothed me.
He did that? I don't know why he would not allow me to have custody of you. When you were tiny, he never wanted you around, always saying you were a little tiny thing whose job was always to create a nuisance. I'm sure he's doing this just to spite me. I'm sorry you have to suffer all this because of your father's selfishness.
It's not fair. I want to be with you instead. Even Brad is more admirable than my dad.
Brad is a big fan of yours too. Baby, I'm sorry about the situation. I promise I'll keep trying.
But why did the judge rule in his favor?
I presented all the evidence to the court, told them why he was not fit to be your primary guardian, but his attorney made a case about the living condition not being a good fit for you.
But it's not true! Living with Dad isn't a better condition. He keeps giving me conditions before he can get things for me or permission to go on a school trip or to visit Anna.
I wish there was another option, honey, but there is none. Could you hang in there for me? I'll try to have you over as much as possible.
But it's not going to be the same.
I know, baby, but look on the bright side. You won't have to change schools, and you'll still be able to hang out with Anna.
I won't mind changing schools if it means I'll get to stay with you. I might miss hanging out with Anna, but at least I'll get to stay with you instead.
I understand, my love. I would love to have you with me always, but the situation of things doesn't allow it.
I will run away from home, Mom. I can't stay with him. I just can't.
Jasmine, listen to me, young woman. Running away is not the solution. Do you know what horrible things that could happen? Worst case scenario, you could be kidnapped. We live in a dangerous country. Do you know what kind of dangers lurk around?
But anything is better than staying in this house.
Jazz, listen to me. Running away isn't an option. Do you know how heartbroken I'll be if some trafficker kidnaps you and I never get to see you again?
I hadn't thought of that.
Of course you haven't. You're still a child, and you have no idea what's out there. Please, Jazz, promise me no matter what, you won't run away.
I promise, Mom. But please don't leave me here.
I promise I'll always keep trying, my love.
All right, Mom. I trust you.
Make sure you have no thoughts about running away, okay?
Yes, Mom, I promise. I love you, and I'll miss you.
I love you too, honey. I'll miss you always.
Hey, Anna. How are you? Hey, Jazz. How are you doing? Is anything wrong? I didn't see you at school today. Yeah, I got some terrible news from my mom yesterday. My dad got full custody instead of my mom. Now I have to stay with my dad when school is in session, and I only get to spend holidays with my mom. Do you mean you get to spend every school year with him? He's so controlling. Your mom should have gotten custody instead. What happened? I'm sure your dad must have done something shady. I definitely wouldn't put it past him. My mom told me she produced all the evidence in court and gave reasons why my dad wasn't fit to be my primary guardian, but he and his attorney must have done something shady and told lies to be granted full custody. Oh, Jazz, sorry things didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and that you'll have to keep staying with your dad when you don't want to. Thanks, Anna. I would have run away if it weren't for you and our friendship. My dad just keeps finding ways to make me miserable. It's so frustrating. I'm always here for you, bestie. But sometimes I just can't take it anymore. He always finds new ways to torture me and to make matters worse. His girlfriend makes my life even more miserable. They make me do all the chores in the house, and I literally have to be a robot in that house who isn't allowed to complain or make mistakes. The moment I become a human and make a mistake or forget to do something, they start yelling and shouting at me, calling me names. Cleaning after Stacy is the worst. That woman is a huge slob, and she does next to nothing in the house. Gosh, it's so annoying that your dad treats you this way. You're much stronger than you think, and I want you to know this isn't going to last forever. You say it like it's that easy, but you have no idea what I have to go through with him. I just wished he wasn't my father. He just makes me wish I wasn't born sometimes. I had no idea it was that bad. Yeah, how can I expect you to understand what I have to go through? Besides, I would hate to burden you with my problems. You don't burden me, and you're my best friend. If you can't open up to me, claiming to be best friends is pointless. Thanks, Anna. After my mom, you're the only other person I can count on. I got you, girl. I just wish there was something I could do to ease your pain, even if it's just a little bit. You don't deserve to have the kind of father you have. Oh, Anna, if only you knew how much I cherish our friendship. You understand what I'm going through, and every time you make me feel a little better. So trust me when I say you always make me feel better. Hanging out with you makes me forget my problems for a while. That's why I always come for sleepovers every chance I get. You are a pretty great friend with a huge heart, and very caring sometimes. I wonder how you're still caring despite what you go through. Yeah, I believe bad people choose to be bad despite going through something horrible. And so do good people. It's about choosing to be good. And I choose to spread love, not make others miserable like my dad. Just don't stop being your beautiful self. I will always try to do better than him. So, when are we having another sleepover? We need some girl time. I was just thinking of that too. I need to hang out with my best friend and forget about my life for a while. How about this weekend? We have a school trip on Friday, and we can spend the entire weekend together. That's right, and my dad seems to be going out of town for the week. I could use that opportunity to spend the weekend with you. Okay, you'll start reminding him today, and hopefully he doesn't give excuses. Yes, I will, and I'll keep reminding him till the day he leaves for his trip. Let me know how it goes, and if we need my mom to call him. All right, I'll let you know. Say hi to your mom for me.
Jasmine, where are you? Stacy told me you left the house when I told you not to go anywhere. And who gave you permission to go on the school trip? If you had died from a bus crash or something, it would have been my fault. What do you think people are going to say? You're such an ingrate of a child. I told you to stay home, but you decided to disobey my orders. And I'm sure it's that Anna girl that has been influencing you.
Hello, sir. I apologize. I was charging my phone.
Where are you? And why aren't you at home? I thought I told you not to go anywhere.
But I did everything you told me to do. And even the chores Stacy gave me. Even doing her dirty laundry. I had to go on the school trip because our teacher said it was worth half of our grade. And if I didn't go, I'd have to repeat the class.
And why didn't you tell your teacher to call me? I will make sure I visit your school when I'm back home.
Yes, sir.
And where are you now?
I'm at Anna's place. We are working on a school project together.
And why am I just hearing about it?
I told you before you left for your trip about the class trip and the project I was going to do over at Anna's.
You didn't inform me of anything of that nature. All you told me was about going to Anna's place, which I told you not to do.
I did tell you, sir, and you permitted me to go.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, sir.
When I say you did not tell me anything, you didn't.
Yes, sir.
So make sure you're back home by tomorrow. Stacy needs you to do some chores around the house.
Yes, sir.
And I must not hear about giving Stacy a hard time. Make sure you do every chore she assigns you. You can't live under my roof and not be useful. I was hoping you wouldn't make me call in as mom tomorrow, asking for your whereabouts. It would be best if you were back home first thing tomorrow morning. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, babe? Just got out of class and was wondering if we could hang out.
Hey, love. I'm alright, just slammed with orders. I wish I could, but I'm at my part-time job and I don't get off till around 6.
Sorry. I had forgotten you aren't always free on Thursdays. How about I come over around 7? We order takeout and you get to tell me how your day went.
That sounds like heaven.
So, how's work going?
It's not easy, but then, which job is easy?
You're right. How do you juggle school and a part-time job? I'm only doing just school and it's kicking my ass.
It wasn't easy at first. I was usually always stressed out, and the days I had night shifts were always the worst because I always found it impossible to stay awake in class.
So how did you figure it out?
I had to make a priority list, stop any activities that weren't important, like some extracurriculars, and whatever days I had classes, I made sure I was not on the night shift so I had enough sleep.
Clever. That would prevent you from burning out. What about during the exam period?
I do less work then, so I'll have enough time to read and attend study groups. It all depends on the things you prioritize. And parties became a no for me because I could use that time making money from a job or attending a study group to get my grades up.
Yeah, I get it now. You had to prioritize doing certain things over others. I should take a page from your book and maybe school won't be so challenging. I am curious about something.
What's that?
Why did you take a part-time job?
It's quite the story. But to summarize, I have an insufferable dad who made my life a living hell. He was controlling, manipulative, and condescending. He gave me conditions before he could give me the basic things I needed. So being dependent on him made things traumatic for me. So I decided that as soon as I was old enough to start working, I would stop being dependent on him.
What? You had that kind of father growing up? How did you survive it?
I honestly don't know how I did. But my mom and Anna, my best friend, were the only reason I persevered.
I really can't believe men like that still exist.
Oh, but I do. I lived with one for over 23 years, so I had first-hand experience.
Babe, I'm sorry you had quite a traumatic childhood. You're one of the sweetest people I know, and going through that must have been hard.
It was hard, but little by little, I'm not letting that experience define any aspect of my life.
I've always known you were strong, but this only goes to prove it.
Thanks, babe.
So, are you rounding up at work already? It's almost 6 already.
Yeah, just a couple of customers, and when I'm done with them, my shift will be officially over.
Okay, I'll let you finish up then. I've already taken up a lot of your time.
For you, anytime. Talking with you is always nice.
Alright, babe. I'll meet you in a few.
See you later.
Jasmine, why haven't you called home in over a month? Because you're now in college, you think you're a big shot, right? We're all now beneath you. Stacy told me she has been calling you, but you have ignored her calls.
Hello, sir.
Now you're too big to respond to my texts, right?
No, sir. I was in class when your messages came in.
And why couldn't you answer them? I'm sure your professor won't mind you replying to your father's texts.
I don't know. I would instead concentrate in class and reply to your messages after lectures.
Why aren't you not picking up Stacy's calls? She's been trying to reach you for a while now. She has sent you like a dozen messages. Why haven't you replied to them?
Stacy called me twice and dropped a message. I haven't responded to them because I've been busy with classes and my part-time job.
So you're now too grown to reply to messages because you're in college? Don't forget I'm still your father. And you wouldn't be where you are today without my support. So next time Stacy or I call or text you, make sure you respond ASAP.
Is there a reason you and Stacy are calling me? You both haven't called in the last 3 months since I left for college.
See what I'm talking about? You've become an entitled little brat. You seem to have forgotten that I was the one who raised you single-handedly without any input from your mother. You've always been an ingrate. Such an ungrateful child.
Is there a reason you texted me, sir?
Yes. Stacy and I are getting married about 3 weeks from now, and Stacy wants you to be one of her bridesmaids. So text her back so she can explain the specifics. And I would like to discuss your behavior when you get home. So make sure you make an appearance.
Sir, I don't think I'll be able to make it. It's almost the end of the semester, and I have projects and assignments I must turn in before exams start.
I don't want to hear any excuses from you. Ensure you return home before the wedding, or you'll cease being my daughter. I raised you from when you were a little kid to the ungrateful adult you have become. I haven't asked for much, other than for you to attend my wedding. Or is that too much to ask? Answer, is it?
No, sir. But the timeline you've given me is pretty short, and I can't ask for extensions for my assignments and projects. If you had told me a month before, it would have been much more suitable. All you're doing is putting me in an impossible situation.
So what are you trying to insinuate? I can't ask my daughter to do something or go somewhere?
All I'm trying to say is I have a life, and you can't just disrupt my plans and expect me to drop everything at a moment's notice.
If I tell you to come home, you must drop everything and obey me. And I don't care what plans you might have. You owe me for all the years I wasted on training you. So don't make me repeat myself. I want you to make sure you're at home. If you fail to do so, I'll disown you as my daughter.
Yes, sir. Hey, BFF. Hey, best friend. How's it going at LSU? Girl, it's all kinds of crazy. I have tons of assignments and projects to turn in before the end of the semester. And that's not all. Exams are coming up in a few weeks, so I must add reading to my long list. Oh, girl. I can relate on that front. But in my case, I also have to deal with keeping my part-time job. I still don't know how you do it. Facing school is already stressful, but then dealing with a part-time job on top? Pfft, that would drive me crazy. Well, consider yourself lucky, my friend, because it is not easy. Before it slips my mind, my dad texted me a couple of days ago telling me to make an appearance at his wedding to Stacy. Wait, is he getting married? I was just as surprised as you were at first. But it turned to anger pretty fast when he ordered me to ensure I attended his wedding. The worst part is it's about 2 weeks from now. But you won't be able to attend. And you have end of semester projects and your job. He can't possibly ask you to drop everything off and go home just because of his wedding. At this point, you should already know the man by now. He even called me names when I told him I wouldn't be able to make it because of schoolwork. He keeps showing how inconsiderate he is. I just knew that their calling and texting out of the blue meant they wanted something. What did Stacy want? That's the funny thing. And she wants me to be one of her bridesmaids. OMG, what? They can't possibly be serious. After everything they put you through, they're expecting you to do that? They are, Anna. I have to go now. My shift is starting in a minute. Do take care of yourself. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you during the summer.
Jasmine! So you have the guts not to attend my wedding. After I told you it was a must, you were present. You not only disobeyed my order, but you also disrespected my authority as your father. What exactly did I do wrong in trying to raise you? I tried to instill the character and behavior befitting of a young woman to the best of my abilities.
Hello, sir.
Is that all you have to say for yourself? No apologies? No excuses for not making it down to my wedding? I am disappointed in you, Jasmine. After all I've done for you, this is how you decide to pay me back. And I should have left your sorry and useless self with your mother. I just thought living with me would be a much better environment for you to thrive in, but clearly I was wrong.
With all due respect, sir, I couldn't attend the wedding because of my hectic schedule with assignments and projects that needed to be submitted before the exam started. Any good father would understand my situation. But that doesn't apply to you, and it never has. All my life, you treated me as a worthless person. It bothers me that you didn't care about my feelings, or my thoughts, or wants, or needs. Always saying you were doing it for my good when you never truly knew anything about me. You keep going on about raising me when I never asked you to. If you had let my mom get custody of me, I wouldn't be such a disappointment to you.
I have always said you have been an ungrateful child, and your words only prove my point. We should go on our separate ways, and I do not want to have a daughter who would not obey me when I give an order.
For the first time in my life, I agree with you on this. Going our separate ways is the only logical solution to benefit both parties.
I appreciate you raising me, but most of what you did was not for my good, but yours. Do make sure you carry the rest of your belongings. I will be home in a week or two, and be sure to collect my possessions and belongings. But whatever is left behind you can donate or sell or do whatever you want with it. Make it snappy. I will, sir. Do not forget, or let me have to remind you. Hey, Mom. Hi, honey. How's school? School has been hectic, especially with a part-time job added to the mix. Sorry to hear that, dear. I did tell you to stop working, and I'll help with whatever expenses you might need to cover at school. I know you did, Mom, but I've gotten used to making money to handle my daily expenses. Either way, I'm proud of you, Jazz. Thank you, Mom. Before I forget, did I tell you Dad got married to Stacy? Really? Well, good for him. There's more. Stacy wanted me to be one of her bridesmaids, and Dad told me to make sure I attended his wedding, which I couldn't go, though. Wow. But didn't you tell me the end of the semester was always stressful? It always is. And I explained all of it to him, but he remained adamant about me attending the wedding. He even gave me an ultimatum that if I didn't attend, he would disown me as his daughter. What did he do? And when I didn't attend his wedding, he kept telling me how disappointed he was with me. He ended up calling me names, as usual, too. Ugh, he's a disgrace of a man. The best part was he finally disowned me, but not without me telling him a piece of my mind. He told me to make sure I come to get my stuff, which I'm planning to do during the week. I never held him in high regard, but I never thought he could stoop so low. Anyway, you can stay with me over the holidays or whenever you want to come home. Thanks, Mom. I knew I could always count on you. Because I could not make it to my father's wedding with Stacy, my dad decided to disown me. Even though he knew how busy I was with school and my part-time job, he just didn't care. This has always been the dynamics between us. He expects me to drop everything else at his beck and call. He has always been inconsiderate and selfish, and this was the last straw. And that was fine by me. After I went to go get the rest of my stuff from my dad's place, and I decided to leave a little present for them. I mean, it is only fair to cause them as much frustration as they caused me, which is still not enough if you ask me. While I was clearing out my stuff and deciding what present to leave them, I noticed how the place smelled like a dump. And after snooping around, I discovered they forgot to clear out the fridge and the pantry. Everything was already rotting and decaying, which was the cause of the foul smell. And I decided to make the smell even worse by putting tuna in all the air vents. By the time they're back from their honeymoon, the place will smell so bad it will take like forever for the smell to go away. Call me a bitch all you want, but they had it coming. This is my wedding gift and payback for them. Nothing was going to make me change my mind. And nothing did. A couple of months later, I heard from my aunt about my dad having trouble selling the house because of the awful stench, and how they can't afford another place. Some part of me is happy that I eventually get to make their lives miserable too. I mean, it's only fair after what he did to me.